In the world of high school sports, the focus often lands on the physical feats, the competition, and the success of teams. But behind all the cheers lies a crucial aspect that goes beyond the field of play: the immense impact that sports have on the mental well-being of athletes. While watching one of your high school sports programs compete, many people just focus on the game itself, when behind the scenes, those competing athletes are fighting strenuous mental battles. Data shows that at least 35% of athletes suffer from mental health crisis, which most commonly manifests in the forms of anxiety and depression. We had the privilege to talk with Valor Christian starting pitcher Athen Kroll about the effects sports has on his mental well-being.
It's definitely difficult. I would say sports definitely takes a toll on your mental health for sure. It's definitely hard balancing both school and sport, but just through practice and preparation, I've gotten a lot better at it. So.
We were able to get a professional's view on this matter, licensed sports psychology and mental health counselor Brooke Ewert.
Most often it's anxiety. That's probably the one we see the most, just the nerves that come along with it, but like the nerves that aren't good. Kind of second one is probably mood down, so like depression, or just like lack of motivation to get back to sport. We see a lot of things around injuries as well, and so the anxiety and depression go along with that, loss of identity as well.
Based on several years of experience, Mrs. Ewert was able to provide a very detailed analysis of how this mental strain impacts athletes.
I think the anxiety piece is like there's a lot of self-doubt, a lot of like fear of failure, fear of not being successful, and so trying to help them to figure out like where the negative thoughts are coming from, what's their biggest fear about not being successful, and just helping them in general just like figure out like what does success look like. Expectations tend to be very high.
It's not just the playing of the sports itself that impacts the athletes, but things that come as a result of playing, such as injury that cause the deepest gash in an athlete's mental health.
The mood piece, I think, is just part of like, not feeling super great. Our goal is just to figure out what's going on behind the scenes. I think the most difficult thing is the injury piece, and it's not like a mental effect. It's more of just like, this is like the reality of like when you're injured, you lose so much of your identity as an athlete. We'll just use an example of like an ACL tear. You're probably out like 9 to 12 months. And so that's really hard to stay mentally focused. And so I think the injury piece is really, really hard.
Ms. Ewert and Athen Kroll both gave very insightful information about how they would recommend overcoming and dealing with the negative mental side effects that sports have on athletes.
My mom is actually a good mental performance coach. She helps me with a lot of the stuff. Just through like before games visualization, which is huge for me, just like visualizing myself, just playing well, and that's been a big thing for me. Visualizing is definitely really important, and then just like pre-game routines are really important for me too.
I think part of it is like, one, we always recommend like seeing someone like what I do, just specializing in like athletes with their mental health in general, like just if they're like feeling like they're stuck. I think it's like kind of like, where are you starting from? So the big thing is like, if you're stuck, where are you going to get to and how are you going to get them there? And so first is like seeking help. From there, it's like talking with teammates, being really open, talking with your coaches, letting them kind of know where you're at. And then from there, just starting a process of like conversations about like, what is this going to look like going forward too?
Remember, the impact of sports goes far beyond the scoreboard or the field of play. It's about nurturing not only physical prowess, but also the mental fortitude that defines these athletes. I hope this exploration fosters understanding about the crucial role mental health plays in sports.